Hello, and welcome to this yoga journey. My name is Scott. I'll be leading us through a practice today. We're really going to explore our bodies, take some time for self-care, and this is an opportunity to give yourself a challenge, but also to listen to your body. And I really urge you to respect your boundaries. We're not trying to set any world records here, just really trying to work on that self-care. I know a lot of us are in quarantine or other lockdown situations, and it can feel dark or alone. But that that got me thinking. That's a lot like a seed in the springtime in the soil. It's dark. Things are uncertain. Things are changing rapidly around it. So I've been meditating on this idea of seeds, and I have some various seeds here in a bowl that I've been kind of gazing at and really thinking about. And so today's class, we're going to really work with that theme of seeds because we're very much like those seeds right now. And although things are bleak, maybe gray, there's a vast opportunity of potential for us all to grow and to change into something new. So let's take a moment to turn inwards at the beginning, and I urge you to find a comfortable seated position, either kneeling or with both sit bones on the ground, or even a chair or a cushion to help raise the hips. Find something comfortable where you can really go inward and withdraw from all of the news cycle, the social media, wherever we've been, and just kind of go inward and take a few breaths there. You can take a soft gaze or blink your eyes closed, and we'll take a few rounds of breath here, just imagining the potential of the seeds. If any thoughts come up, simply witness them and return the attention back to the breath. There's nowhere we need to be, nowhere we need to go. Simply breathing. As you're ready, we're turning back into the body. And throughout this practice, you'll notice I have my yoga with the long edge facing the camera. I would recommend you take the short edge of your mat facing the computer screen so you can face towards me and see the instructions as I give them. So from here, we'll take our hands to heart center and rub our hands together to build up a little bit of heat. Rubbing them together, build heat, and wash the hands. Oh, there we go. Social responsibility here, washing hands. Very good, very good. Okay, rubbing the hands. Settling back into stillness with hands at heart center. We'll do a few rounds of Robin's breath. So we'll link breath with movement. You can watch me a couple times first if you'd like. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring hands forward and round the back. Inhale, opens the arms and chest. Exhale, round forward. and inhale back to heart center. I'll switch angles so you can see from a different angle. Inhale, hands at heart center. Exhale, rounds. Inhale, open. Exhale, rounds. Inhale back to heart center. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, rounds. Inhale, opens. Exhale, extends. Inhale back to heart center. We'll do a few more rounds like this, bringing motion to the spine, starting to warm up. I encourage you to go at your own breath pace, whatever pace that is that's comfortable for you and your body. As you're ready, settling back in with hands at heart center. Take a couple breaths here. Hands at heart center. Next, we'll go into a side body stretch where we'll stretch the side of the ribs. From whatever seated position is comfortable with you, you can ground your left hand down, bringing right arm overhead, trying to keep back in one line. So going over all at once, not bending in either direction. Bringing right hand overhead. And you can have your gaze down to the ground, out in front, or up towards the sky. Using the breath to help the stretch. You can find a nice, juicy stretch in these ribs here, in this whole side body. Take a few breaths here. And then grounding back to the center, we can wiggle out the shoulders a little bit. Grounding right hand down. Find the same stretch on the other side, bringing left arm up. Again, gaze can be down, out in the center, or towards the ceiling. Your choice. If you have any pinching in your neck, I recommend you look towards the ground. Finding a nice stretch in the left side body. Remembering to breathe. As you feel balanced on an inhale, bringing the arm back down, again wiggling out the arms, finding a neutral, and then coming forward into tabletop position. You want wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, on all fours, and here we'll take cat and cow. So inhaling into cat, or cow, exhaling into cat. And what that looks like from the side. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Really bringing motion to the spine. And I encourage you to find some other motions. Take some barrel rolls one way and then the other. Finding what's right for you to warm up your spine, bringing some motion. Maybe we've been sitting all day. Look over one shoulder and the other. You can even find a back and forth where we go back on the rounding and forward on the inhale. Do a few like this. Inhale, exhale, inhale. And then finally, with knees wide, exhale all the way back into devotional pose. So here you want your knees wide as is comfortable, and arms extended forward with forehead on the mat. And take a few breaths here, remembering that seed. What kind of new seeds might we plant during this time? What kind of new habits might we want to cultivate? From here, coming back up to all fours. Again, finding palms under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll do 3 dynamic rounds of thread the needle and then hold it. So what that will look like here is inhaling the right arm up towards the sky. Exhaling it, bring it underneath, just gently touch the shoulder. Lifting back up. On an inhale, exhale through, that's 2. Inhaling up, exhale through, inhale up, and exhale through. This time we're going to hold it. Finding a stretch in the shoulder, trying to keep no weight on the head, maybe the head lightly touches. We're finding a gentle shoulder stretch here. When you're ready, on an inhale, lift the arm back up towards the sky, and exhale, plant it back down. Shift the weight around a little bit. Maybe notice the difference from side to side. Switching to the other side, inhale, left arm towards the sky. Exhale, threads it through. Inhale, lift. Exhale, through. Inhale, lift. Exhale, through. Inhale to lift. And exhale through to hold. Again, this time keeping little to no weight in the head and finding a nice stretch in the left shoulder. Taking a few breaths here. And then weight into the right hand, pushes up. Inhaling left arm back towards the ceiling, and exhale, plant it down, finding neutral position again. This time we'll sit back into child's pose, which is very similar to devotional pose, but instead of having knees wide, we're going to keep knees together, and instead of having arms in front, we're going to have them by our hips. So it'll look like this. From another angle, child's pose, like this. When you breathe in this pose, I like to imagine that it expands the discs along my back, and I get a nice back stretch when I breathe, so you can use the breath to bring a stretch into the backside body here. Okay, from here, gently push up to a kneeling position, also known as hero's pose. From here, we'll take a seated twist. When we do all of our twists, we want to twist from the core strength. We don't want to crank ourselves using our arm strength. We really want to have that energy come from the core. So we'll shift the legs off to the left side at first, trying to keep a straight spine, straight with the earth. And from here, we'll plant the right hand down kind of as a kickstand. And again, twisting with the core, starting with the base, we'll twist the belly, the mid-back, upper back, and finally the head. And you can gently rest your left hand on the floor or your thigh. But again, using core strength to twist. And on inhales, I like to imagine that there's a string pulling the crown of my head towards the ceiling. And on exhales, I release and twist just a little bit more. Again, using the breath with the motion, finding the twist. Then on an inhale, coming back towards center. Coming back to neutral real quick, wiggling things out. Shifting the legs off to the right side this time. Again, keeping a straight spine, twisting with core strength. We use the left hand to plant as a kickstand, beginning with the lower back, mid-back, and finally upper back and neck. Find the twist. Again, inhale lifts the crown of the head towards the ceiling, and exhale twists a little bit deeper. And finally, on an inhale, come back to center. And we'll bring the legs around to the front, to face the front of the mat. Okay. So from here, we'll bring one leg out to the side. We'll bring the right leg out to the side. Tuck the left leg in into single leg forward bend, Janu Shirshasana. And from here, what we want to do is we want to have the torso facing directly over the extended leg. And in forward bends, if the leg is straight or relatively straight, we want the spine straight as well. So I recommend taking actually a fairly large bend in the knee at first, especially those with tight hamstrings, and then bending forward over the extended leg, planting the hands down and allowing a mild pulsing motion as you bend forward. I like to inhale, crown up, and exhale, bend a little bit further. And once you find that sweet spot, you can play with extending the knee a little bit further. But again, keeping the spine straight and imagining that you have your chest is opening up towards the extended leg. Okay, and then walking hands back up. Bringing both heels in to meet in the center for butterfly pose. If you want a cushion to help lift the hips up a little bit, I encourage you to do so. And again, here we want the chest open. We want to imagining our hearts opening forward into this, heels in, find a nice stretch on the inner edge of the thighs. Some of you are messaging me. Okay. Coming back up, extending now the left leg out, bringing right leg in, right heel into the left thigh. And again here, we want the torso square over the extended leg, chest open, and we'll start with the knee generously bent, and we'll inhale forward over it, walking the hands down with support. And when we find that nice stretch, we play here a little bit. Inhale, crown lifts. Exhale, bend slightly forward. And we'll find that sweet spot, and we'll play a little bit here. You can start to extend your knee a little bit more if that feels good. And as you feel balance, using your arms to walk back up, coming back into an easy seated position. This next exercise we're going to do some options here, and I would encourage you to go to the extent that calls to you today. If after a little bit you're ready to lay down, I encourage you to. We'll all meet laying down on our backs. But this is also an opportunity to get some extra energy out. So we're going to do a little bit of core work here. We're going to go into boat pose. So we'll have our heels slightly bent in, and we'll bring our hands under the thighs to start. And again, keeping an open heart, straight back, neck, natural extension of the spine. We'll lean back and we'll lift one leg up, and then we'll lift the other leg. We'll try that again. One leg, other leg. Okay, maybe we're starting to feel the core light up already a little bit. Now let's lift both legs, shins parallel with the floor. Okay, now we're feeling those abs a little bit. There we go. Okay, maybe we put that down. Again, at any point, you're welcome to lay down. So lifting both legs up, shins parallel with the floor. Or maybe pointed all the way up with the ball of the foot pushing forward. Maybe we shake a little bit. That's okay. That's natural. Maybe we can let go of the legs. Maybe we need to take a little break. If you can, let's hold it. And let's bring hands to heart center. And build a little heat up. All right. Let's get warm. Let's wash our hands again. All right. You took an online yoga class and learned how to wash your hands. Good work. Now we can always think of yoga as something that we do on the mat, but I like to think that we often can do yoga off the mat as well. Maybe at the sink. Maybe I'm present at the sink washing my hands, and this is the new yoga pose. Wash your hands asana. Okay, from wherever we are, let's come down to our backs. Good work, everybody. Now we'll bring the knees into the chest and roll from side to side, getting a little spinal massage action going on. Rolling back and forth, really exploring what feels good for your spine right now. What is your body asking you to do? Maybe you want to curl your knees in one direction, making circles, and then the other direction. Now we'll roll forward and back a few times along the spine. And then coming all the way up to seated. Okay, we'll meet in tabletop position again with wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll take another moment to do some cat-cow. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Rainbow. And again, take a moment to really explore your back. What's calling to you to stretch out here, to bring motion. You move like a snake. So we'll push back now, again, into devotional pose. Take a moment here. A moment to recenter, bring everything back in. We're building a little bit of heat. We're stretching out. But let's take a few breaths in devotional pose and remember those seeds. Okay. On an inhale, coming back up to tabletop position. It's another one of those opportunities where we can get a little bit of extra energy out. We'll do some plank and then plank push-ups. At any time, you are welcome to do push-ups on your knees or just come down to lying on your belly. We'll all meet lying on their belly. So from tabletop, bring the legs back into plank position. Now with these yoga push-ups, we want to have the elbows tucked in and kept close towards the body as we go down. So the elbows bend straight back and the shoulders stay over the wrist. We don't want them going out, we want down and back. There we go. So however many push-ups you want to do is right for you. Maybe we want to do them with our knees so we can get more reps in. Or maybe we're ready to go down to the mat. Wherever you're at, take a little bit of time. When you do go down to the mat, you can meet with your cheeks down to one side, left or right side, or you can use your hands as a pillow for your forehead. So coming down to our backs now, or to our bellies, excuse me. Like I said, you can either use hands as pillows, or you can have one cheek to the mat or the other cheek. And from here now, we're going to do a mini cobra pose. And what I mean by that, so if we're laying down, we're going to bring the elbows under the shoulders, so we're kind of like a sphinx. And we're going to have a minor arch in the back, but we're not really pushing into it really hard. It's kind of it's a gentle movement. Take a couple breaths here. And then exhale down. If you had one cheek to the mat, turn the other cheek now to the mat, or you can again use your hands as a pillow. And bring your hands by your side. And again, here you can use your inhale to release the muscles along the spine. I like to imagine that the discs in my back expand as I breathe into my belly. You can imagine breathing deeply, deeply into the belly. Okay, from here, bringing hands directly under shoulders and lifting gently with the back. You want to use your back muscles, your back strength here. You don't want to push with your arms. In fact, you want to be able to float your hands. And in fact, for a second, do float your hands and feel the muscles in your back engage. These are the same muscles that hold your posture. So I really like these exercises to make sure that when I'm sitting at a computer, my back muscles are strong so I can hold postures for a while. Okay, and release. Bringing the other ear down to the mat. Take a few breaths here. Okay, now we're going to come into airplane arms, arms by the side, and using, again, only back strength, lifting up. Imagine that you're holding a peach under your chin, so your head's not arched back, it's not crunched forward, it's natural. Your neck is natural extension of your spine. We have arms extended back, and you can even pulse with your breath. Inhaling brings you up a little bit, exhale, go down, inhale up, exhale down. You can feel those muscles lighting up now. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling one last time, and exhaling down all the way. Other cheek to the mat or hands as pillow. Taking a couple breaths here. On this next round, we're going to do the same thing with airplane arms as we did the last time, but I'm going to give you an option to lift your legs as well. So if you plan to lift your legs, imagine lifting them as one unit with your knees straight. So I like to glue my big toes together and imagine that my pinky toes are almost rotating towards the earth. And then I inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, lift the legs. And so my weight is resting on my hip bones now. So I can inhale and exhale, and I rock a little bit. Again, all those muscles on the back engaged. And release when you're ready. From here, pushing back into child's pose with knees together, ankles together, and we'll bring chest straight over, arms by the sides. This is going to help release the back. We just worked all those muscles. We strengthened those muscles. Let's let them relax now. So let's take a few more breaths here. Okay, coming up now to sitting. We're going to take another opportunity, last opportunity of the class to build a lot of heat, to do a little bit more core work. We're going to do a similar thing that we did with boat. So coming into boat pose. Start with knees bent, bringing hands under
on the crook of the knees. Extend one leg and then the other. One leg, then the other. Maybe both. Maybe they reach up. And maybe we open up our hands. Whenever you feel ready, you can go all the way to the mat. But if you would like to, we can do a few rounds of pulsing where we really build that intensity up. We'll inhale, open, exhale. Inhale back to hold. Could rub that heat. You know, certain seeds will only sprout if there's a forest fire. So a forest fire has to come through and burn off all the dead wood. Everything's in the shadows. All of the dead wood there, and the accumulated brush doesn't allow enough light through. So sometimes we need a little heat and a little bit of fire to burn off the old stuff so we can sprout. Okay. Coming down to our backs. Just for a second. Again, bringing the knees in. Rolling from side to side. Whew. Rolling back and forth. Now extending with the knees in towards your chest. Extend the left leg long. Bring the right leg in. This gets a little bit of a stretch right here, and you can kind of rock this back and forth a little bit and massage your organs, massage your back. Switching sides, extend the right leg long, bring the left leg in towards the chest. Then from here, we'll bring the left leg across into a figure four type shape. We'll keep the left ankle flexed. Okay, so the left ankle is flexed. And we'll bring the right leg towards the chest. You can find a grip behind the knee or on the shin to find a nice stretch on the left side of the hip. This is one of my favorite stretches right here. It really helps release the tension in the hips, and I found this really helps with tightness in the lower back, especially I've been sitting in a chair for a while. Taking a few breaths here. Really breathe into that tight spot. Again, keeping the left foot flexed. And then release your feet down. You can windshield wiper them from side to side, so keeping the ankles planted, taking both knees over to one side and then the other, hoping to release the lower spine. And then bringing the right ankle on top of the left thigh, making a figure four on this side. Again, keeping the right ankle flexed. That helps protect the knee. So we have that flexed. We can bring the feet behind the crook of the knee to find the thigh, or we can bring it on the shin. Finding figure four on the other side. This will give you a nice stretch on the right hip. Taking some breaths here. All right, releasing both legs down. Again, planting heels in, bringing knees from side to side, releasing the lower spine. And then taking a few rolls forward and back. We're coming all the way up to seating. You can find a seat on the ground or kneeling, whichever is more comfortable for you. We'll do some stretches on the neck and shoulders. So grounding the left arm down. I like to bring my right hand to belly, and then bringing right ear to right shoulder, keeping both shoulders down. So we don't want to hunch one shoulder up, both shoulders down. Left arm grounded, right ear towards right elbow, and explore a little bit. Maybe you find that the stretch is better for you here, or maybe you need to look more towards the ceiling. Find the one that works for you, that feels best in your body. And again, remembering to breathe. On an inhale, bring the head back to center, shift the shoulders, grounding the right hand down, again, both shoulders grounding down, left arm to belly, and bringing left ear towards left shoulder, and rolling it out. Remembering to breathe. As you feel balanced, and on an inhale, bring your head back to center, releasing both arms. We'll do one of my favorite stretches to stretch out the shoulder blades. Oftentimes when we sit at a computer, these can get really tight in our back, so it's nice to stretch these out once in a while. Part of this pose can be more difficult to reach for some people than for others. So we can start by just taking the left arm across and finding a stretch like this. This is a good level. If this is a good stretch for you, I recommend you stay here. If you prefer to go deeper, bring your right arm underneath, and you can start to bring the elbows together and the wrists vertical. This is called eagle arms. And if you can, maybe you can bring them all the way together. Again, only if this is accessible and comfortable in your body. Find the stretch that works for you. And then from wherever you are, take some time to explore and breathe and find the best stretch for you, what feels best for you. One more inhale and exhale to release. Shoulders out. Now bringing the right arm across, finding that gentle shoulder stretch. Breathing here. If this feels best for your body, then stay here. But if you would like to
go further, you can start to bring the hands vertical, elbows together, and then meeting in full eagle arms if it's accessible. Then from wherever you are playing, again, find the perfect stretch and breathe. When you feel balanced, take one more inhale and exhale to release, shaking the shoulders out. Now let's bring the legs around to the side. Taking hands behind the knees, lowering ourselves down. I encourage you to take any other motions that feel good for you. Rolling back and forth maybe happy baby pose. Maybe if bridge pose is in your practice, your shoulder stand, this would be a good time to go there. From wherever you are, going into those last final movements, and then we'll do a final twist. First twisting to the right. If you're ready, you can have arms at a T position or in a cactus position. Cactus is like this. If you're in a T position, you can bring your shins parallel with the ground, knees up, and allow your knees to float over to the right side, and keeping your left shoulder glued down to the mat or the floor, and your gaze can be up, it can be to the right. If it's comfortable with your neck, you can gaze over towards the left. Taking some moments to breathe here in this final twist. With core engaged and on an inhale, bringing the knees back towards neutral, and then shifting them over towards the left side. And again here, you want your right shoulder glued to the mat so that it's not lifting up. Your gaze can be to the left, up towards the ceiling, or if it's comfortable with your neck, over towards the right. Taking some breaths here. As you feel balanced, and again with core strength, and on an inhale, bringing the knees back to center, and then extending your legs long, arms to the side, gaze up towards the ceiling for Shavasana pose. And closing your eyes as you're ready, and really sinking into a comfortable space. bring your awareness back to the body. Begin wiggling toes, fingers. Remember, there's no rush. There's nowhere we need to be right now. Take your time. In fact, if you want to lay there continually, go for it. Spend as much time as you like there. Maybe it's night where you are and you're going to go to bed after this. I encourage you to do so. But if you're getting up, bring motion to the ankles, wrists, elbows, knees. Bringing the elbows in and the knees into the chest. Rolling over to one side in fetal position. Again, keeping in mind that idea of the seeds, of our own individual potentials, already latent in us. Sometimes the smallest seed can grow into the biggest tree. Coming up to seating when you're ready. Keeping a soft gaze or your eyes closed. Notice how your attention may have shifted from before the class. Notice if your body feels different. Breathing into that. I have a quote from a very wise friend who sent me this quote, and I adapted it a little bit. She said, "When a seed is broken from the outside, it is the end of life. When a seed is broken from the inside, it is the beginning of life." Let's take this time to turn inward and to work on ourselves. Sprout a new life. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, this yoga journey. Namaste. I'll be back here again, same time, same place, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. I will post a link on my Facebook page, or you can follow the YouTube page to get back here quickly. If you have any requests for future classes or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try to incorporate it. As I mentioned, I plan to continue these classes for the indefinite future, and I'll continue to develop themes, and we'll let this whole thing kind of unravel as we cultivate this new practice. So that's all I have for today. One other thing I wanted to mention is that in Spain, at 8 o'clock every day, the people go onto the balconies to applaud the frontline workers of the pandemic. And I think it's a very cool tradition to applaud the people at the front lines, the doctors, the nurses, but also the custodial workers and the truck drivers and all of the people that are contributing to helping us get through this. And it makes me have gratitude, and I encourage all of us to hold gratitude for the network of being that is humanity, that how we all are able to work together to have this function and have these enriched and beautiful lives. So taking a moment for that gratitude for our fellow humanity. So if you want to, I'll take you out on the deck. We can see what's going on. Leo might sing as well. But otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Leo, sing. 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 Sing.
Not in the mood.
Okay, everybody. See you Wednesday. Sing.